Okay, so in this video we're going to do some work with coterminal angles. So really we've already seen a video on what they are, so I'm going to talk about it a little bit more in detail, and then we'll do a couple, just kind of specific problems that you're going to see, possible quiz test questions, stuff like that. So, okay, so we're going to do the graph on the left-hand side. So I am going to draw a picture here. And here's our angle. And we're going to call this rotation 230 degrees. And be a little bit more specific. I know this is 230 degrees, and these are right angles. So this is 90 degrees. This is 170 degrees. 180 degrees. This is 270 degrees. And this would be 360 degrees or 0 degrees, because that's where we start also. So an angle that is coterminal with this one is one that shares the same stopping point. So one way to do it is to go the other direction. And so technically what I'm doing is I'm subtracting 360 degrees. This would be a negative 130 degrees. And so if I take the 230 and I subtract 360, I get negative 130 degrees, and that gives me the rotation the other direction. And we can also safely say that if I take the absolute value of these two guys and add them together, they should equal 360 degrees, because if you look at the picture, these guys make a full circle. Okay, so a couple different ways to look at it. So now, on this next image, one of the other things that I did before was I kept on going around and around and around and around the circle. So if I have an angle to start, and let's say 230 degrees, we'll start with that one again. So 230 degrees is our angle. So we're going to try and get some different colors in here. And so this guy is 230 degrees. Okay, so I'm actually going to color over this red one so we know the blue rotation is 230 degrees. Now the other thing that I can do, let's go with purple, that sounds good, is I can keep on going around and around and around in a circle. So I've gone around once, right? Gone around another complete revolution, and then I've stopped. Okay, so that's how we would identify complete revolutions. So I'm going to put a black dot. So that was one revolution, that was a second revolution, and after the second revolution, I stopped at my terminal point, okay, or my terminal side. So I take the two revolutions, and then I add the excess revolution from the previous angle measurement, which was 230 degrees. So if I take the 720 and the 230, that should be 950. Okay, so 720 and 230 is 950. And those are coterminal angles. And so now we have another type of question where it says find the coterminal angle of theta. Remember, theta is just a variable for an angle measurement for each angle below, such that the angle is between negative 360 and positive 360. So this is, we'll call this A, call this B. And so I need to find a coterminal angle for 90 that falls between negative 360 and 360. So if I take 90, then I add 360 to it, that's equal to 450. That's greater than 360. That doesn't work. So I have to find an angle that falls between that range. So if I subtract these guys, I get a negative 270 degrees, and that falls between my range. And so the wording of the question is such that we're just not adding or subtracting 360. We have to specifically find one that falls within that range. So negative 210. I definitely know if I subtract 360, it's going to be greater. That's going to be 570 degrees, but in a negative direction. So I'm going to add 360 to that guy. So if I add 360 to that guy, I should get myself a positive 150 degrees. If I add 360 again, it wouldn't work. Okay? I wouldn't fall within the range that I'm looking for. And so that's how we find coterminal angles. Could have a question where it says, give me a positive and a negative, falls between negative 360 and 360, or just give me an angle. And that's all that's required.